Hey everybody, how are we all doing? I hope that you're all doing okay. I think there's maybe still some people just moving over from Govinda's live, sort of my usual crowd. If you are here though, then say hello. I this is obviously a special live. I'm dedicating the entire live to doing readings. And donations aren't necessary, but they're encouraged. So the idea is, if you feel moved to make a donation to the GoFundMe, then please do. So the GoFundMe is called Please Help Allorah, and it's been made by the lovely Avalon Cameron to help out our friend, the lovely Allorah Rain, who has been, having some health issues, is having to, undergo procedures in hospital, that's going to take her out of the game, that's going to stop her from working for a few months. So this is the GoFundMe is to basically help her family, for a few months at least while she's not able to work. So I have popped the GoFundMe link. I've pinned it in the comments, so I'm hoping that you should see it pinned to the top of your comments screen. I've also got it in the right at the top of the video description. So if you go to the description on YouTube, the GoFundMe link should be right at the top. So that's the kind of that's really what I wanted to say about it. I'm wanting to kind of try and spend most of the live doing readings for people. So if you've got any questions, then please pop them in capitals and/or tag me at Elemental Cartomancy so as that I can see them. And just keep me right. My mods and all of my kind of regulars will keep me right if there's stuff that I'm missing, or if there's certainly if I'm missing questions, then do shout at me. I've also said in a couple of the posts that I've put on some of the Facebook groups, if you want to ask a question but you want to ask anonymously, so like for example, if you want me to do a reading for you but you would rather I wasn't saying your name and attaching you to this reading, send me a wee private message. I've got my Instagram direct messages and I've got my Facebook direct messages open here along the screen. I should, fingers crossed, hopefully be able to see if someone messages me. So send me a private message, ask your question, and give me like a pseudonym, a fake name that I can say this is for, Joe Blogs, and we'll do the reading. That's just if that works for you, if you fancy doing that. Whilst there's no questions to be read for, I'll kind of happily just kind of go through the chat and chat away with you. But because I'm dedicating this to doing readings, I'm going to, if there's readings to be done, they'll take priority. I'll do them, and then if I've got time to chat in between, then I will. So yeah, let's see. I think I've already got a question, so I can see the lovely Lily has asked, "What is my love destiny with Benoit?" Okay, so let's switch over to our table cam and let's have a wee look. Okay. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we've got our Queen of Pentacles coming out first, and I think that's just kind of a describing you, Lily. That tells me that you're a very kind of a homely person. Anyone who's in your sphere, anyone who's, that you care about, you'll look after them, you'll protect them, and you'll make sure that they feel safe and secure. And that is like kind of the role that you provide to, Benoit or any prospective kind of other half. There's an advice here, and then we've got the kind of the direction that things are going in. Now, there's a wee bit of a concern here because we appear to be taking a step back, going from the advice to the kind of if you want to call it the future card, you can, but the kind of a direction card. And also this person appears to be kind of up in their own bubble. They don't appear to, they appear to be, I mean, they're content on their own. Don't get me wrong, but they are on their own. And given the question, it just makes me think, But there's an advice here. The advice is action, action, action. Okay. What I think this is saying to you is, if you want something to happen with Benoit, or if you want something to happen really with anyone, but with Benoit specifically as this reading goes, then don't sit and wait for that person to kind of come to you, to woo you, to ask you out. Take action, like get up and get out there. Like the Eight of Wands is all about movement. It's about momentum. It's about like kind of a things taking on a life of their own. You've got the basics, so everything just kind of gets up and gets going. Okay, so and that being your advice card. So Lily, go for it. If you like this person, then you go for it. As per the what I was saying about the direction, we do kind of see this figure kind of just sitting on a bit of a different plane. Um, and I think to avoid that, you need to kind of bear in mind the advice card. If if you really want to be with this person, then just that advice card is key for you, I think. So make sure that you're taking action. Make sure that you're kind of just grabbing that bull by the horns and take responsibility. Sounds like a weird phrase to use, but that's kind of what I'm wanting to say. Take responsibility for your own destiny. Don't wait for some person to ask you out. You ask them out if you really want that. Okay. So yeah, I hope that was okay. There was a wee bit of advice to take account of there, and that's just something that you can think about, Lily. I hope that was helpful. I do know that English isn't your first language, lovely. So I hope that you were able to pick up on what I was saying there. You know how to get in touch with me. If you want me to put anything down in a wee email or something to make it easier. Um, let's see. That's my kind of a contact details there for anyone that needs them. So yeah, I hope that resonated. I hope that was okay. Let's see. So there was the question. I've just seen. Hi, Ben, by the way. Ben needs a PA. I'm not sure why. Thanks for the mail. You're so welcome, Susie. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate it. Hi, Ginger. Deanne can't type because she's finishing up with work. I can see everyone saying hi to Simon. Oh, there he is. There he is there. Hi, Simon. How you doing? I'm not seeing any other questions at the moment. So like I say, I'll chat away until I see a question, and then I'll kind of come away and do the readings. Let's see, just dropping by to say hi and wish you all a very successful reading session. Thank you so much, Orsi. It was lovely that you pop in. I think you meant homey, not honely. Hi, Robin, by the way. Homely. Was that me reading the Queen of Pence? Hi, Govinda. That was a great live, by the way. Taters and Taro sounds good to me, says Regina. Let's see, Sarah, just wanted to say hello to you all and send Allorah good vibes. I'll donate if I can in the next couple of weeks. But have a lovely day, all of you. Thank you so much, Sarah. It was lovely to pop in and say that. Thank you. Okay. So Lily says, I understand the essentials. Good. And I see the Eight of Wands to take the first step. Right. Okay. Good stuff. Thank you so much, Robin. Robin's kind of showing you all how to do it. Yeah, again, not seeing any questions, so happy just to chat at the moment. So how is everybody doing anyway? If you do have a question for me or, for the cards, then please pop it in the chat. Don't be shy. So how's everybody doing? What is everybody drinking? More to the point, I've got cola, kind of like Pepsi Max, and I also got a cup of tea that I've just ran down and made and got up here with just in time, as per usual. Oh, Homey, it means around the home. Homely means ugly. I didn't know that. There you go. You learn every day's a school day. Simon's drinking strawberries and kiwi water. Check you out, Mr. Fancy Pants. That sounds lovely. I had strawberries in my cereal today. I had my 45 grams of bite-sized shredded wheat. In other words, a fine layer of bite-sized shredded wheat at the bottom of your bowl that barely covers the bottom, and strawberries and yogurt. That was my breakfast, and it was lovely. Fancy Pants, 45p a bottle from Tesco. Oh, right, okay. I imagined you wanted one of these fancy diffuser things, and with your bits of strawberry and kiwi all chopped up, and that's what I thought you were talking about. Let's see. How's the piano practice going, Chris? It's going fine, thank you. I won't be playing on YouTube anytime soon, let me assure you of that. Yeah, you, Simon. Oh, okay. So has no one got a wee question for us? Just to kind of keep momentum going. How about why don't we do a poll for just for the collective then? So let's see. I'll be reading for the weekend for all of us, and we'll see what's happening. How about that? Help if the camera was on the table. So we want to know what's happening for all our lovely tarot family over the weekend. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? And I've just mentioned tarot family, so that's the situation card. So there you go. It's basically just answered it literally. Advice. Oh, don't be scared to walk away if something is not serving you. And the direction things are going in. So this is a bit of a, you've got your 10 of Wands there. Now, I know that when you say 10 of Wands, quite a lot of us, our mind automatically goes to that burdensome place, that kind of a taking on too much. And we do get that from this card, this bison or buffalo or whatever it is that's carrying the load does have a hell of a lot on their back. But see, if you look as well, you can see these torches. You can see that the person is lighting the way as they go. And that's kind of to me, that's the flip side of the 10 of Wands. That's the positive side, because it's not just about taking on too much. That's what happens when you block yourself in that high fire energy. But see, when you actually channel that properly, you teach the next generation. You light the way for others. You teach them how to follow your passion. This thing that you've been passionate about, for however long. You're passing that on, okay? And then you're moving on, whether that's you're moving on to do the same thing elsewhere or you're moving on to do something different. But you're kind of moving with that energy, that 10 energy, that 10 energy that recycles. So that seems to be the direction that things are going in. So I guess this weekend has the potential to be, we have the potential to have a lot on our shoulders, or if we think about, how we're approaching things, we could maybe kind of turn that around. So I'm excited to hear how everybody's got on with that. But in the advice card, that kind of seems to link, because the advice is saying, when you know something's not right or not serving you, or when you feel as though there is something missing, then don't be scared to take that step. That it can be difficult to do, and I know it's so much easier for me to say than for us to do. But when something's not right, when it's not serving you, we need to kind of at least take that first step, and then let the others follow. But the overall situation is a happy one. We're surrounded by our friends, our family. We're fulfilled in that we've got the people that we care about all around us. So, things are looking good. Okay. Ben says, I love Chris's Scottish accent. It reminds me I need to watch the film Rob Roy again. Pick up the Scots. Thank you, Ben. Robin is having a bit of a seltzer with my Stacey's cinnamon sugar pita chips. Oh, a bit of seltzer. Right, okay, so you're not having those two. Right, got you. Got you, got you, got you. That sounds nice. Simon says, yeah, collective for the weekend. He then says, snap, Chris. Did you get a similar card, Simon? Regina. No, I won't ignore it. So what else will we find out about UFO, UAP, alien stuff by the end of summer? So what else will we find out about alien stuff by the end of summer? Oh, this requires a riffle shuffle. We need to bookend this question with riffle shuffles. I don't want aliens infesting the rest of my readings, you know. Oh. Right. Okay, so what else will we find out about alien stuff by the end of summer? Okie dokie, so there's a lot of new ideas floating about with the Page of Wands, okay? A lot of theories, a lot of kind of bright ideas about what the situation could be. The Page of Wands is great in terms of being an adventurer and going off and wanting to explore and find things. Not always the best at having that staying power though and seeing it through to the other side, actually like doing the thing that needs to be done, you know. So a lot of theories, not a lot of proof going on. All right. Um, that could change depending on, you know, who's guiding the page, but I'm not seeing any of the other courts around here. Justice is great, sure, but Justice talks about cause and effect, okay? Justice is turning around and kind of a challenge in the page. They aren't really kind of there to guide them. Justice basically just is. They're not good, they're bad, they're for you or against you. All they're going to do is say, right, okay, the actions that you're taking, what you're doing right now, you've got consequences to good or bad, you know, there's going to be consequences to that. Okay. So, in terms of the question, I don't know whether we're going to be getting any kind of there's going to be any new stuff, but I do feel as though there's going to be kind of something to answer for. You know, there's going to be something coming out of the situation where somebody's maybe going to have to, for example, answer for the bullshit that they've been spouting, or perhaps it's going to come out that there's been information withheld and someone's going to have to answer for that. Who knows? Coming in at the end, though, we do have the Ace of Cups. We do have this kind of a new feeling of connection. So take that what you will. You know, maybe there is you know, we're going to learn more about a connection to something else. You know, I'm not sure. To me, the Ace of Cups reminds us that we need to take care of ourselves first. You know, as an individual, as a person, you know, it's the whole, you know, when you're on the airplane, you put your own mask on and then you help out anyone else that needs it. Self-care is so important. I think so many of us forget that. And I think in this endeavour to, you know, whoever it is that's expending all this time, money, energy to find, to look into what's happening, I might be bringing my own personal opinions into it a wee bit here, and forgive me if I am, but I don't know if this is a wee bit of, well, you know, is there not maybe something a bit closer to home? I'm not saying we completely scrap the whole thing. Of course, there's always going to be interest and all that kind of a thing, but maybe just some of the resource could be better directed elsewhere. But I appreciate that that is perhaps my opinion. Perhaps it's just my card's opinion, and you know, feel free to tell them to keep that to themselves. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, I think that's what we're seeing there. So let me know what you think, Regina. Right, I did see a couple more questions there, which is nice. Okay. Question, Chris. Advice for future of my channel. We can absolutely do that, Ben. Oh, we had a card that just dropped out. So we're going to pop that to one side. We'll pop that down there just now for you, Ben, because the moon obviously had something to say to you. The moon is all about being in that unfamiliar territory. Yeah. Quite often in moon we find ourselves transforming. We come out of that water. We see, and maybe not in this deck, but in the Smith way, we see the transformation into the lobster. We adapt and we meld ourselves in order to fit our surroundings. That kind of a Darwin type thing. Human beings are really, really adaptable. We have this fear response, yeah, sure, and that is there for a reason. But we are really good at adapting to our surroundings. Adapting to the situation and getting on with it. So if you find yourself in unfamiliar territory right now, which I mean, I would imagine you would, you've just started something new, and let me tell you, you're doing amazing, and that's just me. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it's a whole new world. I'm not going to do a Govinda and start singing because nobody needs to hear me singing A Whole New World from Aladdin. But so you can find yourself in that, but there's the positivity there, and that we do have that ability to adapt. So don't be scared to kind of a change as times go on. That was just a random jumper. That's not even the pool. So let's see what actual cards we have coming out for you. Oh, again, we've got this Ten of Wands coming out. That's interesting, isn't it? Have this change, adapt, change to the times. So Ten of Wands. In fact, no, I'm going to talk about the Three of Coins first because that's popped out at me there, and that's a card that talks about collaboration. And interestingly enough, and I'm maybe cheating a wee bit here, but you were talking, was it in Simon's Live or I think it was in Simon's Live, you were talking about looking at doing a collaboration with Scott and Govinda. If you guys do that, that would be amazing. And I think we definitely do see that kind of a thing coming out here. But yeah, make sure you don't take on too much, Ben. And I would say this to anyone who's starting a new channel: don't feel as though you're obliged to, upload every however many, every week or whatever it is. Don't feel obliged to do a live Govinda. I'll do a live every day. Like, that's a lot to ask of someone. And if at any point you feel that you need to take a back seat, or you just need to kind of break it down a wee bit and give yourself a bit of a break, don't be scared to do that. That's absolutely fine. And everyone here is amazing. They will all understand if you need to do that. So sorry, Ben, this is for you, but that advice applies to quite a lot, I think. Don't take on too much. Don't put yourself out. Don't hurt yourself in order to, because you feel as though you're obliged to do something for someone else. The Death and Rebirth card, I think, is just more talking about that kind of a transformation. That things are going to change as you come along. Don't be scared to kind of change how you do things, to adapt. Death maybe talks about quite a big change. So I'm not sure what that could potentially be. But there's a big change coming up for you, perhaps. And it's one of these things that we need to embrace, because usually when the death card comes up, it's not someone coming up and saying, "Oh, hi Ben, my name's your tarot cards, and do you fancy a wee cheat?" No, it's somebody grabbing you by the shoulders and saying, "Right, fuck face, I'm only going to tell you this once. This is happening, whether you like it or not." Right? That generally tends to be the idea of the death card. There's not really much escaping it. Okay, so just be prepared if that big change does happen for you, and work with the people around about you. You've got lots of people supporting you here, so we can all help you through that if and when it does happen. All righty. Right, let's see. I think I saw a question from our lovely, very lovely little minx Jackie. Jackie likes to pretend that I'm the little devil and she's the little angel, but really it's the other way about. So that was from Ben. Oh yeah, there she is. So what lies ahead for our school under our new head teacher? Oh, interesting. So what lies ahead for Jackie's new school underneath the new head teacher? Oh gosh, with a bunch of cards all fly out there. I'm feeling as though it's going to be a big adaptation, Jackie. At first, it's kind of this. This happens, I feel, quite a lot of the times when someone new is kind of come in. At first, we might feel a bit defensive. We might feel a need to kind of justify ourselves and justify our position. We might feel judged, and sometimes we can be liable to maybe take things a wee bit too personally. Okay. And that goes both ways, when a new person comes in, sometimes they feel they need to put their own stamp on something when it's maybe not always absolutely necessary. But I do kind of let's just pull some cards, shall we? But I do kind of feel as though, few coins, all the same cards that are coming up here, aren't they? Yeah, I do feel as though there's going to be a quite good connection. I feel as though you're going to get on quite well with them, Jackie. At first, it might take a wee bit of work to get there, right? It might feel as though, like I'd said, because the cards, the reason I was spouting all that, it wasn't just random, and it's not me thinking that I'm all of a sudden getting messages or anything like that. It was based on the cards that flew out the deck. I had Judgment flying out, and I think another one was the Ace of Cups. So that's telling me, yeah, at first it's going to be a big transition. We're going to feel perhaps judged to take the card at face value, but the Ace of Cups tells me that there's something there. There's the beginning of something that could be something quite special, and we see that reflected on the cards that are on the table. We see the King and the Queen of Wands both there together. Okay, so that is showing that this person could be just what's needed. They could be absolutely right for your school, and that it's a match made in heaven, as it were. The Three of Coins is saying, working hard together, and it might take some work to actually get to a place where you appreciate that, they perhaps are that perfect match. But I'm seeing here in the King of Wands, we're seeing someone who can act as a manager type person, but at the same time they aren't scared to get in there and get their hands dirty. If something's needing done, they will get in there and get it done. Which is a good quality to have, I think, in any leader. I mean, how frustrating is it when we're working with people who will talk the talk but they don't walk the walk? It can be really frustrating as like a front line worker. When we see people, they tell us what to do, but we don't actually see that reflected in their actions, only their words. So I don't feel as though he or she, they. I don't feel as though they're that type of person. I feel as though they're someone who's going to, say what. What's the expression? Say what they mean, do what they mean. I don't know. You know what I mean? They're going to do what they say and say what they do. I think that's it. So yeah, that's looking really positive, Jackie. I hope that it doesn't take long to get to a place where everybody appreciates, everyone's talents, and Queen of Wands. That tells me that you're a real talented bunch of people, really vibrant, and you really know what you're doing, and you can do it really well. So hopefully it's not going to take long before he appreciates that, and you appreciate. I'm saying he. I'm just assuming he. I don't even think you said. Did you say headmaster? I don't think you did. But before they appreciate you and you appreciate them, I think. Anyway, yeah. You can. I hope that resonates. You can let me know what you think. Okay. Not sure if we've got any questions at the moment, so I'm just going to have a wee nosy down the chat. Ben says, "Oh, Robin, well spotted. My spelling is awful. I remember the other day I was apologising for something being late, and I said sorry for any incontinence instead of like, oh dear." Well, I mean, depending on how that that presents itself. It may well be something you want to apologise for, Ben. Sorry for the incontinence. Oh dearie me. Secrets will be revealed, says Ginger. So that was about the aliens reading, wasn't it? Let's see. So I think, Justin, you tagged me actually, didn't you? So I'm hoping anyone that wants a reading will capitalise it or they'll tag me. I think I saw. So Justin, hi Justin, by the way. I have Tarot of the Abyss at work today. I was looking at the court cards all together. Amazing. I hope you get yours soon. Yeah, me too. I can't wait. Getting ready to wrap up at work. Hope you are well, says Justin. I am, and I hope you are too. I'm just happy it's the weekend. Well, my weekend anyway. I was talking to Scotty about that card only this afternoon. So I think you're right that mostly it's theories that require careful weighing before there's real new information, and that the emotional response to that info might be what's new. Okay. I think Chris might revoke our privileges for our UFO and multiverse questions. Did you ask a question, Justin? Because I've not seen it. If you have, then do me a favour and post that again, will you? And do it in capitals. Just I'm watching YouTube documentaries on the multiverse all day, and I'm basically an expert. That doesn't surprise me one bit. Hi, Gerald, by the way. I'm sorry to anyone that I've not said. I know I never really did the roll call, did I? It's a bit late to do it now. Hi, Shauna. Well, actually, no, it's not late to do it at all because I can just go to participants. Now, I'm not going to catch everyone here, but so there's barely anyone on this list. I can see Ginger Faye. Hi, Ginger Faye. How are you? See Jackie Jacaranda. I can see Jonathan Daly. I've not even seen you in the comments, but I can see your name there. Justin. I can see Regina. I can see Scott. I can see the lovely Shauna. I can see the lovely Zane, who I've also not noticed in the comments yet. But hi, Zane. I see you at the bottom there, actually. Our lovely Simon, our lovely Sandra, and our lovely Robin. But that's all that's on the participants list, guys. So yeah, I know that that doesn't catch you all. Oh, fight over the King of Wands between Simon and Jackie, says Sandra. Regina's Tower Takeover deck arrived today. Cool. It's never easy getting a new head of school, says Ginger Faye. Put your money where your mouth is, says Justin. Yep. Sounds spot on. She has been in school for the last few months, and I do go on with her so far. Right, okay, cool. Well, I misgendered her because I was saying he, so sorry about that. But yeah, I hope that everything goes well with her. Oh, jumped. Not seeing any questions, guys. So if you've got any questions for the cards, then please pop them in. I'll take a wee moment to say again that I'm doing this to try and boost the donations towards the Please Help Allorah GoFundMe. Donations aren't necessary; they're just appreciated and encouraged. You know, I'm just trying to do this to help out the GoFundMe. Any donation, whether it's a dollar or two, or whether it's a bigger donation, is so appreciated. So yeah, Allorah's been has had some health issues recently, and is having to undergo hospital procedures and whatnot. It's going to stop her from working. So the lovely Avalon Cameron, our friend, has set up this GoFundMe just to kind of try and raise some money to get Allorah and her family by for a few months while she's not able to work. So this is what this is in aid of. I'm trying to just boost donations towards that, just by encouraging everyone, you know, whether you get a reading or not or whatever, just if you feel called to, then please, if you can, donate to the GoFundMe. You'll find the link pinned in the comments at the top in a nice navy blue, and you'll also find it in the description, right at the top of the description of the video. Okie dokie. So with all that said, oh, there you are, Jonathan. Aloha, friends. Sorry for being late. Don't apologise. It's lovely to see you. Jackie says hit that thumbs up. Thank you so much, Jackie. Apparently someone drove into an electric pole outside of a bar and it created a surge which blew a transformer in my block. The explosion sounded like a bomb. Wow. So that was the big explosion that woke you up then, Justin. That's a shame. I would have absolutely jumped out my skin. When I was going to bed last night, I kept waking up, kept getting frights and waking up. It happens to me if I drink caffeine too close to bedtime. You know, if I have caffeinated tea just before I go to my bed, I find that, you know, see when I'm in that phase where I'm falling asleep, I'm kind of a dozing but not completely sleeping. I wake up with like big frights. It's really weird to us. I think it's just like must just be all that kind of energy that's bursting about inside me. It's kind of waking me up. Oh, I can see orange comments. Lily says, Jonathan D. Jonathan, have you asked a question? Jonathan Daly, we've had wacky weather today, hot and sunny with repeated dark storm showers and thunder, says Robin. Oh. From Lily Valley, an advice for the new moon in Cancer for all of us. Oh, I'm sorry, Lily. Oh, there, I see it there. I see it now. My apologies. So advice for the new moon in Cancer for all of us. Let's have a wee look. So you'll all know, you know, if you've watched my channel for some time, you'll know that astrology isn't my strong suit. Cancer, I know, is a water sign. The water signs tend to be quite emotional. I think Cancer tends to be the kind of a one that puts the emotions into practice. Is that right? So the new moon and did you say new moon or full moon? So we had our Knight of Pence popping out there to say hello. New moon in Cancer. So what does the new moon in Cancer have in store for us all? Let's have a wee look. It's funny with our Knight of Pence jumping and then our King of Pence comes out. This Ten of Wands just doesn't seem to want to leave us alone, does it? It keeps popping out. Okay, so we've got the Chariot there. So the Chariot for me is all about kind of getting. It's about wrangling up. We see it in the image. We see a charioteer trying to control these two horses and trying to kind of get them pointed in the same direction in order to drive the chariot forward. And that's essentially a metaphor for us. All of the shit that goes on in our lives, all of the different aspects of ourselves as well. It's an internal and an external card. So all of the stuff that's going on, you know, in our mundane lives and everything that's going on with us personally, we basically every single day we have to find some way to get all of that stuff pointing in the same direction in order to drive us forward, in order to get us through the day. All right, now that can be sometimes it's an easier fight, other days it's a more difficult fight, but that's basically what we've all got on our plates every day. You know, everyone who gets to the end of the day, give yourself a pat on the back because you've managed to achieve something that day just by getting through it. You know, you've managed to balance all of the shit that you've got to deal with, and you've managed to get to the end of your day. Okay, the new moon in Cancer, it looks like it's challenging us to do just that. It's about taking control of all the stuff, and I'm drawn particularly to the black horse here, which represents all of those things that the stuff that we kind of maybe don't so much address. The white horse is the white horse is the conscious. It's the things that we're concerned with in everyday life. It's the social responsibility. It's the horse that makes us look good. The black horse, on the other hand, is that kind of a more carnal desires. It's basically the selfish part of ourselves that, if we were to kind of let that take control, then we would look like an absolute dick. But we do need to kind of nourish it, just as much as we do the white horse. Okay, it's important that we look after ourselves. Like I was saying earlier, it's important that we look after ourselves and that we just kind of look into that dark side a wee bit every now and then. Because if you give one horse too much control of the chariot, then kind of things tend to go off tend to go haywire. Okay, so let's just remember that this new moon in Cancer. Let's remember to kind of just follow our desires a wee bit. Now, bearing in mind that the Cancer, and God, has anyone told me that I'm wrong? Oh yeah, the Chariot is that links to the sign Cancer, doesn't it? Oh, there you go then. But um, if I'm right in thinking that Cancer is about putting your emotions into practice, bringing them into the practical world, we are looking at carnal desires. We're looking at things like relationships, we're looking at sex, we're looking at how we kind of interact with all of those. It's not just about it's about platonic relationships as well, but we're looking about how we interact with the people around about us. So maybe we should kind of just give that dark horse a wee bit of control, um, for this new moon in Cancer. Treat yourself, do something for yourself just because it's what you want. All right. Um, you've got your King of Pentacles there. He's ever the responsible person in the background, making sure that the kingdom's stable. He's the one who's kind of follow that white horse. That white horse is what's going to kind of keep you going. He's reminding us, like, we need to kind of make sure that we've got enough pennies in the pocket, enough money in the bank to kind of make sure that we keep a roof over our heads, we keep ourselves fed and watered, nourished. He's just there managing all that kind of a stuff. Again, we have this Ten of Wands coming up, and again, it's giving us this message like don't take on more than you can handle. Okay, sometimes we try and do things all at once. To use really stupid examples, who here like makes it a challenge to carry all of the shopping bags out of the car and into the house at once? Who hates doing it in 2 trips? Or if you're taking, like, I don't know, mugs or dishes or whatever from upstairs down to the kitchen, who tries to carry as much as they can so that you only need to do it in 1 trip, right? It's inbuilt into us, to be as efficient as possible. And we have this tendency to take on more than we can handle. Now, I've gave mundane, silly wee examples there, but I think that we see that reflected as above, so below, right? So we see that reflected in our bigger lives as well. Okay, we have this tendency to take on more than we can manage, and every now and then we need to we need to kind of take a step back from the situation and say, right, okay, can I actually do all of this? Am I setting myself unmanageable targets? If so, we need to break it down. Something needs to go in the back burner. We need to kind of say, right, okay, this is the important stuff that needs done now. I'll focus on that. The rest can get done later. Okay. So sometimes we just need to give ourselves that leeway. And I'm going to ask that of everyone here for the new moon in Cancer. So treat yourself, follow your desires. I think the King's just saying things are going to be, don't worry too much about treating yourself, as long as you're not going to excess. Obviously, that's the King of Pentacles. He's, like I said, very sensible, and gosh, wouldn't want us doing anything to excess. But I think it's just telling us it's okay every now and then to take our eye off that white horse and concentrate on the black horse every now and then. Um, yeah, that was very rambly, guys, but hopefully that that was meaningful for at least one person. If it was meaningful for just one person for the new moon in Cancer, then I'll be happy. Ginger Faye will take a general reading, please and thank you. I would be delighted to do a wee general for you, Ginger Faye. So we want a general reading for our lovely Ginger Faye. Well, let's have a look. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Got our King of Wands coming in here. Our Seven of Wands and our Fool. So Ginger Faye, the King of Wands, like I was saying earlier on, he's very charismatic. He's very kind of in this management position. If we kind of think of our manager selves, and everyone has that kind of everyone takes on management to some degree at some point in their lives. We all manage our lives, but we're all responsible for something. Okay, so the King of Wands is good at kind of walking the walk and talking the talk. All right, he still has that kind of very kingly social responsibility aspect to him, where he can kind of step back and maintain the stability of the kingdom. But at the same time, there's a lot of action in this person. There's a lot of fire in them, obviously associated to the wands. So this is someone who's going to kind of get their hands dirty. This could be describing. Excuse me, I've just hit the microphone. This could be describing qualities in you. Is it just a general in general, or general for the just a general? So this could be describing qualities in you that you need to kind of shoes that you need to step into, or shoes that you do indeed step into every day. Or this could be someone else who's either around about you or who's coming into the situation, who's going to kind of just embody these qualities. But either way, this is the energy that I'm seeing around about you. It's this kind of a very charismatic manager type energy. I don't like using the word manager, to be honest. Managers are no nice. I don't like using that word in terms of these, unless I'm specifically talking about work. I need to think of a new word for that. Your Seven of Wands, again, we see this person kind of up on a level of their own. They're inside this bubble. There's a lot happening around about them. I think it's about taking that. So when we were talking about the king, we talked about this duality between action and inaction, knowing when to actually take action, when to get your hands dirty, when to kind of take on that fire, and knowing when to kind of sit back in your throne and be a king and oversee the kingdom. So it's this kind of a dual phase to him, and we're seeing the kind of the step back phase and the Seven of Wands. All right. Now there might be a lot happening around about you. You might feel as though you've got seven wands coming at you at one time, but sometimes you need to remember to kind of just take that moment to yourself in order to kind of recuperate. And the Seven of Wands it is a card of despite there being a lot happening, it links to the Chariot. It is a card of success. It's telling you that you've got this, you can do it, you've got it within you to fight this fight. Okay, but sometimes we just need to remember that we need to kind of take that step back, take that rest, and just kind of have that respect and care for ourselves. Your Fool coming out at the end there, that's quite a nice energy to come out, because it's just like something new, a new beginning coming out for you, and it's telling you basically just to go with it, just to trust in the universe. We see this very kind of a trust exercise image in the Fool and the Light Seers, and I absolutely love this image. So I do, you know, she's just trusting. We see the seed of life here as well. So just this kind of idea of a new beginning, something new starting up for you, and you're being asked to just trust that things are going to be okay. Um, So yeah, I hope that that was all right. I hope that resonates with you. You can let me know what you think and how that pans out. Oh, let's see. I'm making bread and moving around, so I'm out of earshot a bit, says Gerald. You're making bread? Oh, very nice. What kind of bread are you making? I do love homemade bread. Sandy makes lovely bread, so he does. I just love it. Obviously, it tastes really good, but I love the way it makes the house smell as well. Um, right, Govinda, we're working with my friend on a freelance basis. Get off the ground. So Govinda working with a friend on a freelance basis. Get off the ground. Why do we keep getting the same cards? Really? I feel as though my deck is just taking the piss out of me now. Maybe that's a sign that it's that. Right, come on. Right, you see me when I pull cards, when I put them back into the deck, I don't put them together. I kind of intersperse them. I put them in different points in the deck and then I shuffle. I mean, like, right, okay. So we're going to read this anyway, right? Because, I mean, obviously these cards have got something to say. So Govinda wants to know, while working with my friend on a freelance basis, get off the ground. Well, we have the collaboration work here, yeah. Um, we have this, I'm going to say it again, this kind of a very managerial type card. That, I think as long as you roll with it, as long as you trust in each other, and there's going to be stuff that you don't know. See, when you start a new endeavor, more often than not, the worst thing you can do is try and get everything planned to a T, to absolute perfection before you even put like pen to paper or before you take action. So many of us are such perfectionists, and we like to kind of work out every single intricate detail before we'll even kind of actually take any action. So before we even get, if I talk in like kind of a tarot numerology terms, before we even get to that 3 energy, before we're taking action on it, we're already wanting to kind of have a plan worked out for what's going to happen when we get to 10 and beyond. And it just doesn't work that way because, I mean, yeah, you can plan things, and there's nothing wrong with, having a rough plan in mind and having a game plan so is that you've just got something to fall back on if things go wrong. But if you plan this out and try and stick really rigidly to it, then that's where we start coming up against problems because life isn't like that. Life doesn't happen the way absolutely the way we want it to. Right? Things change, circumstances change, life throws things at us that sometimes we just don't expect. So we need to be ready to deal with that when it happens. As long as you can step into that, Govinda, and just trust that things are going to be okay and go with those changes, then I think things are going to be fine. All right. And then, like I was saying earlier on about the King of Wands, it's all about, knowing when to take a step back and knowing when to get in there, get your hands dirty and get the work done. You know, if you're kind of collaborating with someone else, then I'm feeling as though, you're going to have to be working around each other. And if you're both used to only having done this solo before, then that can take a wee bit of getting used to. Um, to use the analogy of a kitchen, if you're used to being in your own kitchen cooking alone for however many years, and then all of a sudden there's 2 cooks in the kitchen, it can be it can sometimes be quite difficult to adapt to. So I think it's just important that you both allow yourself that time to adapt to this. And again, just trust that things are going to be okay. Alrighty. Hope that resonated, and I hope that it was okay. Let's change and use the everyday enchantment for a bit, because I feel as though the light seers is just taking the absolute piss out of me. Okay. So I can see the chat jumped, but I did see Jonathan saying he would take general. Oh, where are we? Gerald is saying elemental cartomancy is on my next live. You'll have to remind me. Yep, I am live with Gerald on Monday coming, the 12th, yeah. I believe it's at 7 o'clock my time. And we are talking about the Santa Muerte Tarot. And I'm really looking forward to it. Right, whereabouts were the questions that I was answering there? Oh, there we go. Well, working on it. So that was Govinda's reading. I've then got Jonathan. I'll take a general reading, whatever the guides want me to know right now. So let's see if we can get a wee general reading on the go for Jonathan then, shall we? Oops. I'm quite far up, I think, in the stream and the Facebook. Oh, Chris, in the YouTube chat, but I do have the StreamYard chat on the side here, so hopefully I should kind of be able to catch something if it's really important, if it appears at the bottom. So a general reading for Jonathan, please. What do we want Jonathan to know? King of Cups, the family man. Ten of Coins, again, family man. The Three of Coins. Wow. Wow. Okay. I mean, it seems to be a lot about family and or those close to you, Jonathan. We have our King of Cups, who is like he's the father of the deck, isn't he? Whether literally or metaphorically or whatever, he's taught. This is the person who is the master of those emotional connections. Um, you know, he is the diplomat. He's the negotiator. He's the person that you go to if you've got any kind of maybe emotional problems. Okay, so if someone's upset you, you run to dad. You run to the King of Cups. He's like a good sounding board. The King of Cups generally has a good take on moral situations. So you quite often find these are the kind of people who, if you're not sure how you feel about a particular issue, you might find yourself going. If you know someone who has a King of Cups, you might find yourself going towards them just to kind of get their take on the situation and see what they think. And generally, what you'll find is you'll be like, yeah, actually, I agree with that. You know. Um, so anyway, we see this very kind of a fatherly figure, and then it doesn't stop there because we then get our King of Coins, and fatherly, grandfatherly, but not only that, but not king, sorry, Ten of Coins, my apologies. Not only that, but the Ten of Coins is talking about, passing down that knowledge. Remember the tens are about recycling. It's about the renewal of that cycle. Quite often in Ten of Coins, we think legacy. We think things being passed down. Sure, money. Yeah, we think inheritance. That is a big one for this card. But also, it can talk about just passing on knowledge. All right. So, Jonathan, you might actually find yourself teaching Apollo how to play chess. You know, or how to do something particular. I feel as though you're going to be close to your boys this weekend, is what I'm saying. And then that's kind of a continued in the Three of Coins there. We kind of get this idea of just growth and being together, and yeah. So a very family oriented weekend or time ahead for you, Jonathan, is what I'm seeing. So just concentrate on being there for your loved ones, for your boys, for the people that need you. And you know, Three of Coins is all about working together, you know. So maybe you're going to go on a wee trip together, maybe you're going to do something together. It might be something big, it might be something small, like a jigsaw puzzle, but either way, you know, you're going to be spending time with family. Um, didn't really tell you very much that you didn't know, I suppose, but hopefully there was something in there in my ramblings that resonated with you. Um, very fitting for me right now, trying to find things to do with Apollo during his summer break. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Maybe you need to go on a wee boat ride. Maybe that's something that you could go do together, eh? Okay. So it's simple white wheat bread mix. Only waiting for the first rise and then for a short rest and then into the oven and into my mouth. Yeah, with butter, says Gerald. Sounds lovely. See if we got any more questions at the moment. Nothing better than a fresh made loaf of homemade bread, says Jonathan. Ben has just sent Scott an email. I've silly things to say about that comment. None of them appropriate on Chris's channel, says Gerald. Well, apparently I am the heathen of the group, Gerald. So you can say apparently you can say whatever you want. Apparently I just bring the tone down wherever I go. So I don't know. Maybe you might want to just go ahead and say whatever it is. Um, let's see. Just take the quick browse down. I always take all the bags in one trip, says Shauna. Yeah, me too, or at least I try. Oh, hi, Antoinette. Cancer rules the fourth house, home, family, good time to foster relationships and positive outlook. Cool. Um, Deanne semi-related. One of my exes, a good one, asked me to stop trying to carry so much because I was going to hurt myself. Just bringing whatever in from my car. I thought it was kind of weird. Right, okay, so that kind of linked in with the new moon in Cancer reading. Thunder and lightning crashing outside the window. I think I might. I think maybe I out to step for a bit. So you're going out for a walk, Robin. Enjoy. So Ginger Faye, the Seven of Wands is definitely you. Always finding calm amidst the chaos. Yeah. Oh, there's our lovely Jen, Henry, Henrietta. How are you, lovely? I saw that Zane and that Gerald were slagging you off, Jen. Slagging you off in your own house or on your own channel, as the case was. Um, no, I was watching. I think it was yesterday whilst I was sorting the kitchen. I had your you guys live on in the background. Um, let's see, bread. Oh, barely balanced tarot. Hi, handsomer Chris. Hope that you're doing okay. See. Oh dear, it's just jumped. Right, there was a bear emoji. Chris jumped in. There we are. Jen is doing quite fabulously. Excellent. Govinda says, Chris, makes a lot of sense. Bang on as always. Oh, thank you very much. That's kind of you. It was in my reading and I bagsy them first. Is that the King of Wands, Jackie? Jenna says, hi guys, great job, Chris. You have raised, including me, $150 for our. Oh, well, that's amazing. That is so. Oh, that. Thank you, Jenna, for letting me know because I don't have my eye on the thing. I probably should have, had a wee nosy, um, what it was before, and so I could see what it was after. But oh, that's brilliant. It's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, any small amount raised is amazing, but brilliant. Good, good, good. Um, let's see. Catching up on Zoom. Sorry, this is me just trying to catch up with the chat, guys, and see what's happening. Um, very fitting from. Oh, right, okay, yeah, I think I saw that, didn't I, Jonathan? Um, send them over to me, Jonathan. You're welcome to, of course, says Jen. Um, sweet innocent Chris, says Jackie. Yes, yes. Adjusting my heel. So Jenna says, can I have a general reading for the next month? Of course you can. Absolutely can. I think we'll do a wee elemental reading for our lovely Jenna, shall we? For the next month. So this is where we look and see what's happening in each of the kind of elements for Jenna. And this is a reading I would encourage you to try for yourselves. Try this as that kind of general reading for yourselves. So sorry, I'm chatting away. So a general reading for our lovely Jenna for the next month is what we need. Okay, so let's look and see what's happening in the element of fire first. So fire relates to things that, it's our legacy, it's our purpose. When, our fire is the things we're passionate about. It's probably the things that we expend most of our time and energy on. Okay, then you might think, well, actually, no, I'd hardly even think about like my work, for example. I think more about my relationships. But your relationships, your family, your connections, that can link into fire just as well as water. Okay. Um, we have the Four of Wands coming up there, Jenna. So that's maybe telling me that you've maybe been burning the candle at both ends lately, and you're maybe needing to take a bit of a rest, take a bit of a step back. Okay, just a bit of a pause, a bit of a break in order to recuperate your energy. We're only at the 4. We're not at the 10 where things have to actually stop. Things need to end and you need to move on to something new. This is just a kind of a bit of a rest stop for you. All right. Just to, like I say, just to kind of build up that energy again. Because like I say, it feels like maybe you've been trying to take on too much, try to do too much. Air. So in the mind, I mean, we see the Six of Cups coming up. All right. The Six of Cups, the sixes are cards of harmony. All right. So this maybe shows you trying to kind of just gather a bit. So maybe by taking this rest, it's going to give you the mind space that you need. Just to kind of calm your mind, be at peace, that kind of a thing. Quite often when we take on too much physically, we end up with too much going on up here. And that can have effects on us in more than one way. That when we find ourselves too blocked up mentally, emotionally, it has physical knock-on effects. Perhaps, Six of Cups. So we think about that kind of an emotional system reboot. It's a very emotional card. I know we're in the suit of air here, but our thoughts and our emotions are very closely linked. Um, so a bit of an emotional system reboot, like I say, it can sometimes we can see it manifesting as like links to the past, so thinking back to times when things were maybe different, you know. So if you find, maybe this is a bit of an advice, if you're finding yourself over the next month a bit frazzled, do that kind of a, you know, that thing that computers do, you know, when they look, when they kind of they go back to, you know, they find, right, what am I trying to say? What is it that they do? They go back to when the computer didn't have the virus, when it didn't have the problem, and they basically reset back to that point. It's like a reboot type thing, you know. Um, so maybe that's kind of a what's needed in order to find that, to give yourself that rest and just find that kind of a harmony. What about your emotions? What's happening there? We've got the Magician. So there's a lot, you know, the Magician is a very active card. Okay. Um, Very kind of a lot of mastery. So a lot of mastery over your emotions. So you've had like a very emotional card come up in the sort of air, and then you've had like this, you know, this major arcana or magician coming up, and the sort of water, you know. So in terms of your emotional connections with others, I feel as though others are really kind of a, you know, you're a go-to person for them. They're really impressed by you, and you're kind of a someone that people will turn to when they're in need. All right, because you know, whether you look at your magician as like you're kind of a Smith Waite magician who's very impressive with that table, you know, doing his as above so below, you know, an expert, like the epitome of skill, or whether you look at it as like the street magician that we see in the TDM and the Tarot de Marseille. I mean, yeah, we might think of the TDM as being more of a trickster, but I mean, he has everyone's attention, you know. So emotionally, in terms of those kind of a connections that you've got with the people around about you, Jenna, like I say, that, you know, people are looking up to you. Um, and then we have our Two of Wands as our Earth card. So Earth is basically bringing everything together, and that's our base. That's our groundedness. It's our security and our safety in our everyday worlds. There's some planning going on there. I feel I always see the Two of Wands as a planning card. You know, you're building your portal. You know, you're kind of a planning the way ahead. Things are germinating. You know, it's that two energy that we associate with the High Priestess. It's when the seed is setting its roots and it's just kind of getting ready to sprout, but not quite there yet. So there's stuff being planned in your physical material world. So I'm sorry, I've just realised that's not really showing there. And you know, it's about kind of becoming familiar with your tools as well. We see it as a drummer here. So the kind of a significance that I take from that is to play the drums or indeed to play the piano. As you know, you all know that I'm learning just now. You kind of have to kind of get used to that duality. You need to get your two hands working in conjunction with each other. So it's kind of like you're discovering your abilities and your tools and how to apply them to the world around about you. You know. So that's what we're seeing around about you there, Jenna. There's planning, there's discovery, there's kind of experimentation, I think. So yeah, that was a lot of random rambling, but I'm hoping that some of it resonated with you. Um, you're very welcome, Jenna. Thank you. Okay, so that was our lovely Jenna. I think I'm going to go back to the Light Seers and see if it's behaving itself. Now that it's had its time in the corner, its time on the naughty step. Okay, this is going to jump. Okay, there we go. So, Zane says, me, never was that about being on Hen's channel. Weren't they just nasty, Chris, says Jen. I don't know what you're talking about, Chris, says Gerald. I was so cold being on our channel. I'm sure you will. Well, you know, all I'm going to say is when the tables turn and we're in winter and Jen's in summer, you'll be sorry. I'm sure. How so? I don't believe that, Gerald, says Jen. Happily ever after says, hi guys, how are you? We are doing good. Is this the first time that I've seen you? If it is, then welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're doing okay. We are just doing some readings and having a wee chit chat in between, aren't we? So Jenna is a Leo, full of fire. Yeah, I know. Just got here, says Sorsha. Sorry to not got your message in time for putting this into the group. So, oh, listen, that's okay, Sorsha. Don't worry about it at all. It was just to kind of let different people see that I was doing this, and just to kind of drum up some support for the cause, for the GoFundMe. But honestly, don't worry about it at all. Um, let's see. So Chris says, I'm trying my first ever Scrabble tile divination whilst I'm listening, and listen is the first word that I unscrambled. Maybe this will be a cheeky literal tool. That's pretty cool. Have you guys seen the film? It's actually in the second one, the sequel, Insidious, or Insidious 2. Because in that, there's a guy called Carl, and he uses, it's not, I don't think it's Scrabble tiles. I think they're kind of like, if I remember right, they're kind of like dice, but they've got letters on them, and he kind of casts them and then sees what words they spell. I always thought that was quite cool. Oh, Jenna, you're going home for the first time in 32 years. Oh, wow. Right, okay, there we go then. So that'll explain the Six of Cups then, won't it? Facing childhood trauma. Right, okay. Okay. Well, you've got all of us if you need us, Jenna. So just shout out. I see you having lots of healing, Jenna. A big chunk of it being internal healing, says Jonathan. I was hoping for a reading to confirm. Right, okay. Well, I'm glad that the reading was meaningful for you and that it's kind of giving you that wee boost, Jenna. I can't ask for any more than that. Began researching the coldest places on Earth. After that, my hubby had to listen to me crap on in horror. Crap on in horror. I hope that you meant something else there, Jen. uh, Cool, Chris. I got the Scrabble idea from the girl in Nosferatu, who uses it for messages. Simon's saying thanks, Ben, but I can't see. Oh, there's Ben there. Oh, I've emailed. Oh, is this about going on catching up with? Because I'm excited for that. So yeah, that I'm excited to see cup of catch up and cards and catching up with coming back on Saturdays. That'll be really good. I'm taking a class just now. That means I'm busy at 4 on a Saturday, but of course I'll catch back. So yeah. But I'll be excited to see you guys go on because that'll be really good. Let's see. So Light Energy 555 for you says hello. Hi there. It's lovely to see you, new subscriber. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Like I'd said, we're just having a wee chit chat just now. Feel free to ask a question for the cards if you have one. Just pop it in capital letters for me or tag me. But I'm at the bottom of the chat just now anyway, so I'll probably catch it either way. Um, but yeah, suppose I'll just take a wee moment to, whilst the chat's a wee bit quieter, I'll take another wee moment to explain why I'm doing this. So, the lovely Allorah Rain, who's been a member of our community for years and years and years. Yeah, I make that sound like she's like 80. Like she's been a member of our community for many years. Check out the channel Spread This Witches. That's a kind of a collaboration channel between Allorah Rain, who we're trying to raise money for, Avalon Cameron, who's the very kind friend who has started this GoFundMe, and Chase Two Owls, who was, recently, maybe a couple of months back, was on Jilly's channel, showing his and Sonny's new Constellations Lenormand deck off. So definitely check that out. Check out their channels. But yeah, so Allorah is, in a bad way health wise just now. She's had to have, procedures done in hospital, including a battery change in her pacemaker. Um, as such, and because of other health complications as well, Allorah isn't going to be able to work for some time. So the idea is of the GoFundMe is to raise money just to kind of help her and her family get by for a few months while she's unable to work. The idea of me doing readings is to encourage donations towards the GoFundMe. So you'll find the link pinned to the comments. You'll also find it in the description of the video at the very top. Um, and yeah, so it's not a donation isn't necessary. It's just encouraged and very very much appreciated. Whether it's a big donation, a small donation, or whatever, anything that anybody can contribute is it's so kind of you, and thank you so much for doing so. So yeah, anyone who has a question, then please just pop it in the chat. Let's see, we're all saying hello to Light Energy 555. Jonathan's saying he's doing okay. Having to keep Apollo entertained during the summer break is tiring, but glad to have the time with him. Take him hiking up the wonderful island summit of yours, Jonathan, says Simon. And Shauna's asking how old Apollo is. I can't exactly remember. Is he like 7 or 8? Years old. There we go. Oh dear. I've still got my tea here, guys. As usual, I've let it go cold. I'm trying to think if I've got any chat for you. If there's been anything happening. Ginger Faye, love to all, must go and feed the man cub. And thanks so much for being here, Ginger. It was lovely to see you, and thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate that. It was really nice to be able to read for you. Shauna says, my kids don't want me to amuse them in the summer. They're 20 and 17. See, that's quite... My niece is 3, so she is. I watch my niece tomorrow. I watch her every Friday. So it's like I love her to bits. It's quite full on, don't get me wrong. Looking after a 3-year-old and keeping them entertained and whatnot, but she's just amazing, so she is. I've got her into watching like snake videos on YouTube. There's this amazing channel called Snake Discovery. I've probably talked about this before. But I love watching them because I've got pet snakes and I think snakes are amazing. So that's a channel that I've always kind of watched. But I've got her into it as well. She'll always ask, "Can we watch the snakes?" Because I cast it to the telly, so I do. So she'll just sit and quite happily watch that. So let's see. Jackie says, any new decks, Chris? Yeah, actually, yeah. Do you know what came today? Might as well show it off. I got this, the Mabel Lenormand. This came today. So this is, it's actually a 52 card deck. It's got so I think, am I right in thinking this follows the oh gosh, is it the Gypsy Fortune Telling deck? Is that what it's called? Um, so this is it here. The images are, it's got the playing card associations. It doesn't have the titles, but the images are really clear. I think what they are. Um, so yeah, like you've got your rider there. Clover. It's just a clover. And also something else that I've ordered and it's coming tomorrow. I've ordered some playing card decks, and I'm going to try and make my own Lenormand deck. So I'm going to do what Kelly did. I'm going to sand off some of the playing card image, and I'm going to it'll mostly be just the words, I think, but I'll maybe try and squiggle some wee drawings in there. So yeah, that's coming tomorrow. So I've ordered those. Oh gosh, what type are they? They say number one on them. Those playing card decks. I don't know. I think they're linen finish. So I don't know if anyone can tell me whether that's a decent deck to do that with. Chris, you'll probably know. Um, okay, let's see. So Jenna's been loving Lenormand lately. Yeah, so I've been doing Kelly at the Truth and Stories class on Lenormand every Saturday, and yeah, I've really been enjoying it. Light Energy 555 for you. So says, will I get to have a child in this lifetime? I'm 35 and single. People say I'm very loving and kind and pretty, but reality is I am single and want to meet someone. Okay, cool. We'll put that question to the cards. Um, I, where I can, I try not to kind of a stand in judgment of people's questions. I do maybe think like if I would offer some advice just from me to you, maybe the first question you might want to kind of a look at is, whether you're going to find someone. If that's the path that you see for yourself, is that you find this person and then you have a child together, then maybe that's kind of the area that you would want to look at first. But I'm going to read the question the way that you've asked it. Obviously, this is meant to kind of give you ideas, give you advice, and give guidance on the way forward um, and what you're doing. It's not meant to take agency away from you. And I don't really believe in a fixed future. I think the future is determined by all these kind of big and small choices that we make. So I just wanted to say that, get that out there before we lay the cards on the table for this, because I'm conscious that it is a very kind of a future casting question. But with all that said, let's see. So do we see child on the horizon? Right. What do we see around about that situation? Okay. I mean, you've got the lovers coming out there at the end. I mean, when you're looking at forming a connection with another being, the lovers, you can't really ask for a better card than that. There is a lot of kind of I feel as though you're living in your head a lot just now, and there's a lot of kind of a fast movement. There's a lot of moving from A to B. Um, the Knight of Swords prides himself on his intelligence, and sometimes that can be to the detriment of their connections with other people. Okay, sometimes they can come off quite maybe I mean, I'm not saying that this is you, okay? So I don't want you to take offence to this, but sometimes the Knight of Wands can come across as being maybe a wee bit arrogant, maybe a wee bit too attached to their own ego. All right. The moon is maybe telling us that you're maybe going to have to take yourself into a bit of a different space, a bit of a different zone in order to get things moving in the direction that you want to. You know, the moon is that unfamiliar territory. It's talking about, you know, transformation of you both inside and out. And you know, taking yourself into that place and releasing, you know, just letting go and just being in that energy and not resisting it. You know, quite often when we come up against that moon energy, we have this temptation to change things back to the way that to the way that they were. All right. Whenever we see these big changes happening, we have a tendency to kind of like we don't like change. You know, we kind of try and stay in what's safe and what's familiar. But I think what this is saying is that in order to get to this end point to where you want to be, you're going to have to embrace that unfamiliarity. You're going to have to embrace that what could potentially be quite a scary twilight zone for you. Um, we see the I love the image in this card, and if you ever get a chance to read Chris Ann's description of the moon card on the website, the full description, not the one that's in the book, the little book that comes with this, or sorry, this, but read the full description. You know, we see this maiden, this person drowning, you know, she comes to a point, she sees the two canines, you know, the two dogs. She gets a fright because she's not sure whether they're good or bad or indifferent. Are they wild? Are they feral? Are they friendly? Are they going to tear her apart? Are they going to be her best friend? She just doesn't know because she doesn't understand. She's in this kind of a deceptive zone. And because she panics, we see her kind of she falls to the bottom of this pool, right? And she's flailing and she's panicking actually, but you know, she's getting tangled up in all this fabric, but really what she needs to do is stop struggling, just surrender to where she is. Once she does that, once she stops struggling, the buoyancy is going to take her up and it's going to take her to the surface where she'll be able to kind of breathe that air again. All right. But first she needs to accept, surrender, accept the situation that she's in. That is the first step. So I think the best advice is, you know, don't resist change, okay? Because judging by the, you know, the what question you're asking, you know, it looks as though it is going to be a big change for you. You know, if you get what you're asking for, it's going to be a massive, massive change for you in your life. Okay, so you kind of need to embrace that in order to get to this end point. But if you can, you know, the Lovers talks about this deep harmonizing connection that you can form with someone else. Now, this might be a partner that you can then go on to have this child with, or it might stand for the child himself, you know. But it's talking about a deep connection where both are kind of a dependent on the other. Um, So, yeah, it is, you know, it's a real positive reading for you, but I think there's, you know, there's definitely some advice to take on board there. And I don't think that it's going to come, I don't want to say for free, but because that's, you know, but it's not, there's going to be a price to pay for it. You know, you're going to have to kind of embrace this in order to get this. Okay. I hope that resonated and I hope that it was helpful. Um, So you can let me know how you feel that was for you. Um, and I can see you saying sorry, my question was complex. Not at all. Please don't apologise. Like I say, I don't like to stand in judgment of anyone's questions. There are certain things that I don't feel comfortable reading for, and you know, in those cases, I will say this is maybe not the question for me to answer. However, I'm happy to kind of um, I'm not going to kind of judge someone for asking a question, so no apologies necessary. I'm going to shut this door over. Give me 2 seconds. There we go. So I am wearing purple shorts. I'm not in my boxers, just so you all know, because I know that you all get a glimpse of my purple shorts there. Okay. So Jonathan got Pocket of Peers Tarot Kickstarter package a couple of days ago. Cool. Hi Kristen, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you. I hope you're doing okay. Chris from Barely Balanced says, in part based on the Gypsy, but also a few other of the old Cartomancy decks. So that was the maybe Lenormand. I'm pointing that way and it's over here. But yeah, cool. Govinda asks, how is the Lenormand course going? It's going amazing. There's only been 2 classes so far, but we'll have the 3rd one on Saturday, and it is going really, really well. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So yeah, I would encourage everyone to check out Kelly's classes because I think that they're really worthwhile. You know, if there's something that you're really wanting to get into, or just look at deeper, then you know definitely consider going for it. Such a great community here, says Gypsy in the Forest. Yeah, they really are, and that's all down to all of you guys. Let's see. I like bicycles, says Simon. Playing cards. There are some nice playing card decks out there, says Govinda. Jackie, hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Jackie. Been my cheerleader as always. Our wee Jackie's just amazing, isn't she? She might be a wee devil, but she's an amazing devil. Have you thought about adoption, says Jonathan. My son is from an open adoption and his birth mum is coming next month for a visit. Oh, that's amazing, Jonathan. Are you looking forward to it? Are you feeling good about that? That's pretty cool. Kristen, if you have time, Chris, I have a question for you, my lovely. I absolutely have time. The writer of my guidebook fell through. Should I write the book myself or try to find a new writer? Oh, so we've got some options there, have we? That's interesting. Let's do a wee option spread for you then, shall we? So we're going to take a card for the general situation, and then we're going to take a card for option 1, which will be writing it yourself. I think we're going to take it as you wrote it. So option 1, write the book yourself, and option 2, find a new writer. And we're just going to look at the kind of a general feeling around about those things and see if we can come to some sort of some sort of decision as to what to do, or give some advice as to what to do. So Kristen is looking at the writing of her book, and we want to have a look at that situation, please. Okay, so the general situation is the Sun. All right, so I mean the Sun is a really positive card. So right away I'm saying that this is actually, there's opportunity in this. Okay. There's definitely a silver lining to what's happened. Now, I know when things fall through like this, when things don't quite go ahead as planned, it can kind of take the rug out from under us a wee bit, and it can lead us to feel a bit down in the dumps or just a bit deflated. But the Sun is there to tell you, everything happens for a reason. The Sun is like your annoying kind of I don't know, that annoying person that tells you everything happens for a reason, and what's for you won't go by you, that kind of a thing. But it's a really positive message there. So right away, where the situation is looking good, Kristen. Okay. For writing it yourself, you've got the King of Swords, and for getting someone else, we've got the Knight of Cups. So we've got some court cards there. So the King of Swords is he's the intelligence master. Yeah. This is saying to you, what do you actually think? What is my first impression just by looking at these both cards? I mean, I kind of want to steer towards writing it yourself. The only thing is you're going to have to take account of the fact that the King of Swords, he can be quite remote. He's very airy. I look at the Kings as being associated to the element of air. But even if you don't make that association, they're all about responsibility, social responsibility. So they've got their eye on the ball. They're kind of always looking at the bigger picture. and they're always trying to keep things moving along, keep things stable. And also at the same time, we're in the suit of swords, so we're in the element of air anyway. We're in the suit of the mind. Now, with all of that, because the King of Swords is so kind of concerned with the truth and the information and making sure that everything is done right, sometimes it can take the emotion out of the situation a wee bit too much. Okay, what I'm saying to you is, if you want to write it yourself, you've absolutely got it within you to do so. Okay, you have got all of the intelligence that's needed. I mean, I don't need a pack of cards to tell you that, but you've got what is needed to do so. But you just might find yourself feeling a wee bit isolated from society if you do so. Not to be too dramatic or anything. Coming in there with the Knight of Cups for getting someone else. So this talks a wee bit more. We're feeling a bit more connected with the Knight of Cups. There's a lot more kind of happen on the kind of emotional wavelength. The Knight of Cups is all about making things happen, and the suit of Cups, which is all about your emotions, your connections to other. Um, so I think, I mean, it's not really answered the question, has it? It's not really giving you a clear view as to which direction you should go in. I think it's just I think this is just saying, right, well, if you go in that direction, this could maybe happen. And if you go in that direction, this could maybe happen. So let's look at pros and cons. For me, the pros of getting someone else to do it is, well, for one thing, I feel as though the Knight of Cups is a much happier person than the King of Swords is. Okay, so there's a much more connected feeling. And I suppose just embracing more of this kind of a happy sun energy that we see in the overall situation card. So I feel as though these two are maybe linking more closely than what these two are. All right. At the same time, though, I feel as though with the Knight of Cups, there's maybe a bit more of a tendency to be distracted. He's certainly not going to have as much kind of a commitment to the end game as what the King of Swords would. Okay, so you might feel yourself having to kind of maybe manage the situation a wee bit more. Obviously, you would than if you were doing it. But I suppose there would be a certain element of surrender and control there. Um, as for the King of Swords, we've kind of already discussed it, but the pros would be, obviously it's telling you you've got what it takes to do this. You'll be able to kind of set out your vision exactly as you saw it in your head when you created them. The cons is maybe that feeling of being isolated, that feeling of being kind of just apart from everyone for a while you create space for yourself to do this. But either way, the sun is coming out. It's letting whatever comes ahead, you've got what it takes. And the sun is a very healing card as well, so if that is needed, then it's there for you. Okay, so perhaps like if you do find yourself feeling this isolated feeling, then we've got that healing vitamin D coming out in the sun to heal us both, spiritually and physically, emotionally, mentally. Sun's an amazing thing and we all rely on it. And I'm kind of a rambling now, so um, yeah, let me know what you think. I think that's all I want to say about that just now. Um, but yeah, what are your thoughts, Kristen? So let's see what you're saying here. I would say this is saying, yes, I should find someone to balance out my cerebral approach. Right, okay. Yeah, I don't have time to manage someone's flightiness. Jonathan saying, have you reached out to anyone professional, thinking about Jamie Elford or someone like her? Thank you, it's giving me something to chew on. You're very welcome. Do you know what we'll actually do for you? Why don't we pull a wee Portal of Presence card? Whoops. Just to kind of link in with the reading. And this will kind of give you a wee insight as to how I use these cards. So this, just to let you know, this is the Portals of Presence by Deborah Koff-Chapin. It's a deck that's recently come out. Now, they're pretty big cards. I'm going to move this to the side. But I tend to shuffle them like kind of that way. So I ruffle them like that. I found that that's the easiest way. Whoops, to get them to shuffle. I didn't do it very well there, mind you. So yeah, I like to kind of a pull one just to go along with readings that I'm doing. I usually do it for myself, my own readings, and just see how the cards that I get links in with the tarot cards. So let's have a wee look. So let's have a wee card to link in. Okay. So again, I mean, we've got all this kind of a mental energy that we see first and foremost here. We see this kind of a bearded, wizened figure. So there's a lot of experience in him, and there's a lot of intelligence, and I think this is linking in with what we were looking at with the, the King of Swords. But if you look at him, he doesn't look like a very happy chappy, does he? He looks as though he's maybe kind of a suffering on some level. So a lot of experience, a lot of mastery, expertise, and a lot of intelligence. But again, just kind of a bear in mind how it's going to affect you, affect your well-being. I think is what we're wanting to say there. Okay. So that was that one. Sorry, I disappeared for a while. I'm back now. And I'm actually forgetting I'm supposed to be checking my Facebook and Instagram messages. How silly of me. I'm going to go and check them just now just to see if anyone did ask for a wee anonymous reading. So you've got one message, but it's taking its time to come up. Right, okay. No worries. So don't think we've got any anonymous readings. So let's see. Got anything else here? Jenna's off to resume cleaning. Love this fucking community. We love you more, Jenna. Light energy has typed a message and then retracted it. I could probably find it on this. All right, okay, sorry. So this was so Saoirse says, "Is this too heavy? Let's see. Can I be of best help to youngest son? But suffers post-traumatic anxiety himself." I mean, there's no question. As long as you're happy for it to be read, Saoirse, I'm happy to pull cards on it for you. And because it's, I have a bit of a thing about third-party readings. So if you were kind of basically just asking me to read for him, then I would maybe say, can we maybe reframe this? But the question that you've asked is, how can I be of best help? So that for me is absolutely fine. I'm more than happy to read that for you. So let's have a wee nosy. I say that a lot, don't I, before I do a reading? Let's have a wee nosy. So how can Saoirse be of best help to youngest son? Okay, so look at the Ace of Cups coming out there. The Nine of Pentacles, and we've got the Five of Cups. So I think it is the key here is this Nine of Pentacles linked in with the the emotion of this Ace of Cups. I think what you need to be is has safe space. Okay, there's going to be times when feelings are at a low, Five of Cups isn't a pretty place to be. We all like to look. People like to think of the Three of Swords as being like the heartbreak card, but in my opinion, the Five of Cups is much more of an appropriate heartbreak card because it's this kind of instability in the emotional center. It's kind of it describes that place that we go to when we're feeling lost or we're feeling that disconnect or when things are changing and we're not quite sure how to deal with it. You know, that is perhaps describing the place that you that this is maybe how you're seeing your youngest son. And that's going to be hard for you to see, that's going to be difficult for you to look at. But I think what you need to be is just that safe space. And the Nine of Pentacles, we see this kind of, it's almost like luxury, isn't it, that we associate with this card? But it's luxury that's created through discipline and hard work. All right, we see this person who's kind of a trained bird. That takes commitment, that takes discipline, takes a lot of work to be able to do that. So this isn't someone who has everything handed to them on a silver platter. This is someone who's worked to be in that position. Okay. And I think this is just saying for you to kind of share that, that safe, that content, that happy place with your youngest son when he needs you. Okay. He's not looking for someone who's going to come and basically just fix everything. All right. Because I mean, like with the best will in the world, you're not going to be able to do that, but you can provide that safe space for him. Okay. And just this kind of when we look at the Ace of Cups, it's just that kind of that very caring, emotional person that, I mean, we don't know each other that well, Saoirse, but we've known each other for a while, and every time we speak, you're always a really pleasant person to speak to. It's always lovely to see you in the chats, and it's always lovely to speak to you wherever we are. So just be that kind of a emotional safe space for them, I think is what this is saying. That's really the best thing that you can do, and be there for him when he needs you. I hope that resonates, and I hope that was helpful for you. Chat's just jumped. Okay, so yeah, I've been listening while cooking ground beef, tomato soup, yellow squash, oregano or oregano, depending on how you pronounce it, garlic and mozzarella, bacon in the oven now. Very nice. Cold tea. Let's see. Royal Shorts, says Sheila. Celtic Tarot Sheila. Jonathan's really enjoying Kelly's Lenormand class. Kristen, doing well. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. Jen's got to run, but it's been lovely to spend time with you all. Well, it's always lovely to see you, Jen. Sandra asks, will I achieve my dream of living in Glastonbury? If you have time, Chris, no worries if not. For you, Sandra, I don't care if it's midnight, I will make time to do a wee reading for you. So will Sandra achieve her dream of living in Glastonbury? You know that my tarot cards are going to come out and with an arsehole response, don't you? They're going to come up and say like maybe he's aye, maybe you know. You know what it's like. So let's see. Six of Cups coming out there, so we see that kind of emotional harmony, that emotional stability coming out. Maybe some links to the past. So that's quite a positive thing. And then I know that I'm jumping from one end to the other. So this is like kind of your situation card, and this is, you know, the direction that things can move in. You know, this is like your, you know, your outcome, your future. This is your where the kind of the direction that things will go in if you take the advice of the middle card, which we'll talk about in a second. But the chariot, you know, the chariot is ultimately a card of success. You know, it's telling you that if you can manage, you know, these horses, if you can manage all of the stuff that you have to manage, then, you know, you can absolutely drive that chariot forward. It's just about striking that balance between doing what you need to do for, you know, what your responsibilities are, and then following your own heart. So following your head and following your heart, if you can get both of those pointing in the same direction, then the chariot is absolutely, you know, an omen for success. Um, the advice card that we have is the Hermit. Okay. So this is maybe suggesting, you know, that you're going to have to kind of a break off on your own and accept that you're going to have to go within, and find the answers within yourself. All right. So maybe there's been times when you would maybe have, um, oh gosh, what am I trying to say? So maybe previously you might have found some security and been able to kind of maybe like for example, to use an example, right? Having your you know, your mum close by, you know, being able to kind of go around and see her whenever you want to. That's a safety net. That's a security blanket. Okay. Um, Having that safety net um is, you know, that this is one of these things are kind of where we rely on something out with ourselves. And I think the message of the hermit is like, you know, it's all about going within. You know, there comes to a point where we need to accept that in order to find our way forward, we need to find the answers within ourselves. And sometimes it's about letting go of that security blanket, whatever that security blanket may be. I just used an example there, Sandra, but whatever that may be, um, it's about letting go and trusting in yourself. And I mean, hermit, like if we take it at face value, hermit, it's about being comfortable in your own company as well, you know. Um, so being comfortable, being both like physically distance and, you know, spiritually as well. Okay. But like looking at the general kind of a direction that the reading is moving in, I think there's absolutely the opportunity there for you to make something of it. I think there's just maybe some going within, some inner searching, some soul searching to be done in order to find the, you know, the will and the strength and the, you know, the kind of the get up and go to actually make it happen. Um, so I hope that that was helpful for you. I can see that you've said it makes sense, so that makes me happy. Okie doke, so we're coming to 11 o'clock, guys. That's when I would normally stop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quick look down the chat. If we've got any questions remaining, I will answer them. I want to make sure that I'm answering all of the questions that I get today. And yeah, but we'll maybe start thinking about signing off sometime soon. So let's see. Apollo's birth mum is definitely part of the family. It almost feels like a baby sister, and we're way past due a visit with her. We usually get together once a year. Pandemic next at 2020. Right, okay. Oh, well, that's exciting, Jonathan. I hope you have an amazing time. I'm totally nerding out over the astronomy aspect to the meanings, says Kristen. So I would say this is saying yes, I should find someone to balance out my cerebral approach. I think we'd actually seen that, hadn't we, when I was doing your reading, Kristen? Overwhelmed by the writing myself, but I'm worried person just won't get it right, which would cause conflict and frustration. Shauna says, a wee Portal of Presence card? They're huge. Yeah, they are. I think they're the biggest cards. It's the biggest card deck that I've actually got, I believe. I don't think I've got any that are quite as big as that. So got to go, lovely people, but it's been lovely spending the evening with you all. Thanks again for the reading, spot on. Oh, thank you so much, Ben. Thank you. Really, very much appreciated. You're an absolute star. So you could write it and have someone edit or consult rather than co-write, says Regina. Much more true to your vision, your voice, with your writing. And I feel like you've got more skill in that area than you think, Kristen, says Regina. This is very helpful. Saving the spread. They are gorgeous images. Oh, that's good. I'm glad, Saoirse. After some inner process, I see you riding the chariot to Glastonbury, says Saoirse. Yeah. My house smells wonderful as the bread is baking in the oven, says Gerald. That sounds amazing. I hope that it tastes as good as it smells. Govinda says, thank you. This has been lovely as always. Yeah, so I'm not seeing any more questions. So I guess this will be the final call. If anyone's got a quick question to throw it in now. But if not, then I'll wrap up. We'll call it a night there. But just let me say just now, guys, thank you so much for being here, just for being here in the chat anyway. Just having the chit chat going back and forth. It's always amazing to see you. Thank you for bringing so many amazing questions for me as well. Really enjoyed reading for you all. As always, of course, and it goes without saying, but thank you so much to everyone who's been able to donate towards the GoFundMe for Please Help Allorah. So really can't say thank you enough. Very much appreciated, and we all know that it's going towards a good and worthy cause. It's nice to catch the end. So everyone's saying thanks. So you're all very welcome. It's been my pleasure. I love my Thursday nights here with you. And yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, I can't see anything else coming through. But you all know how to get in touch with me. Let me just pop it on the screen here. There we go. You all know how to get in touch with me. If you need me for something. So everyone if I don't speak to you or see you, have an amazing weekend. Hope that everyone has a good time. Look after yourselves. And I shall see you all when I see you. I'll see you all next week. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.